Boker tov l'kulchen and yishar kochachen to everyone on finishing Masechet Yevamot. I would like to contribute the top 10 things I learned in Masechet Yevamot, none of which have anything to do with actual Yevamot. Number 10, Masechet Eruvin doesn't look so bad anymore. Sorry we ever complained about Masechet Eruvin being boring. What's the worst that can happen when boring? Extra math? I like math. What's the worst that can happen in Masechet Yevamot? A lot of ivory tower academics twittering meaninglessly about the academic issues involved in the statutory rape of a minor. Yuck! Number 9, just because you may doesn't mean you should. Even the Chachamim tell the people of their own generation, Malacha atzel yada, malacha atzel zakena. You could marry her, but why would you want to? Or, to be more specific, in terms of the earlier issues we saw about Ibama being grabbed off the streets and raped by her Yavam, technically it's Yibbum. Technically, the court is going to whip him until he bleeds for his crime. You can, but why would you? Just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Number 8. The Talmud has a minimum standard for women's reproductive rights. As a learner in the United States of America, terrified out of her mind by the repeal of Roe versus Wade, it's good to know that the Talmud sets the bar. The bar is not anywhere near as high as it should be, but there is a bar. Women have the right to physical health. They have the right not to conceive children. Women have no obligation to enact men's sexual or reproductive fantasies. And life does not begin at conception. Whenever life does begin is different in different contexts, but until 40 days, what the mother is carrying is halachically just water. Number 7, the greater the Beit Din, the greater its aptitude to lose touch with the people it is meant to be helping. Monitor your lawmakers in case they're developing an ivory tower attitude whereby only academics in the in crowd are able to give testimony that actually affects the law. This setup means that the views and needs of diverse Jews in different locations no longer matter, and that is very dangerous. We are set right in Masechet Yevamot by Rabbi Dosa ben Harkinas, who teaches Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehoshua and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah something about humility. If your court does not have humility, it is missing something. 6, accepting Hashem in your heart is beautiful and spiritual, but you need to do more than that to be Jewish. Outward engagement is a necessary step to increase group buy-in and to decrease freeloading. Mindful Jews by choice are supposed to be welcomed with open arms and given a beginner's education to start them off on a lifelong Jewish journey of learning. They don't have to learn everything before we welcome them. Also, we should give them a disclaimer about those rotten anti-Semites. This stuff was amazing. Halacha believes in unenforceable clauses. Halacha upholds fair market prices. If the case comes to court, the extortionate demands of an emergency will not be upheld, and the Beit Din will never force anyone to pay beyond fair market price. That said, for a judge to deliberately lie to the court may bring victory to the side of right, but it will be a Pyrrhic victory, when the side of wrong discovers they can use the same tactic. Don't encourage judges to lie, Abaye tells us. In the long term, you will lose everything your parents ever dreamed of. 4, did you know that all the signs we can use to detect miun, we can also use to detect abuse? Number 4, did you know that all the signs we can use to detect miun, we can also use to detect abuse and trafficking, and not just in girls under 12 either. If you see a sign that someone is not safe, do something. Say something. Boost the signal. She may be at home, she may be in public, she may be in a vehicle, she may be too terrified to speak out. She may have to say something to a clerk in the store, but if you hear it, act on it. Number 3, the mitzvah against factionalism, lo ta'asu agudot agudot. Don't be sectarian, Jews. Find something worth coming together. Ah, beautiful brush. Number 2, the law can pierce the mountain. Nobody can say for sure what that means, but I'm fascinated. Rabbinic consensus has a limited but present authority to uproot a Torah law for a clear and pressing reason to prevent harm or enable good in the Jewish community. In our people's greatest moment of crisis, Moshe Rabbeinu literally broke God's words, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu told him, Yishar kochacha sheshibarta. The number one thing I learned in Masechet Yevamot, thanks to the myjewishlearning.com daf email quoting Rabbi Ethan Tucker of Mechon Hadar, pluralism, integrity, community. You can have up to 2, but you can't maximize them all. Even Beit Shammai was known to make compromises. You can have pluralism and you can have integrity, but you're going to be sacrificing the community coming together. You can have pluralism and you can have community if you sacrifice integrity to bring all of Klal Yisrael together just for 3 times a year. And that's a beautiful picture.